record. Command Shift R. All right. Washington State law. I'm recording. Okay. Does anybody have any objection? Nope. Good. All right. So we're going to try to use the master professor pen as much as possible, so we can actually break down our code. But the problem with the master professor pen is we can't work on an entire project. We can't look at all the files at once. For how complicated our projects will be on the master professor pen, especially on CodePen, won't cut it. Good there? All right, so we're gonna continue to use Netlify and GitHub because we can. All right. Nice, all 800, all 8 of y'all. Nice work. Okay, that said, let's go ahead and get into the course site and let's dive into the master professor pen, or the professor pen. Okay, so for Web Design 3, I don't think our daily engagements, we're going to continue with this, but the submission of it, we're not going to do it via Notion. I thank you. I want to thank you for kind of letting me experiment on you, but it's great for UX3. It's going to be awesome for professional practice. It's going to be awesome for UX3, but for Web3, I think it's when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So we're going to still have all the same engagements, but you're going to submit it via Canvas. I just think this sharing for what all you're going to be submitting is URL links, right? You're not going to need to submit images. You're not going to need to submit like large files. And I don't think Notion is going to work for us. So does anybody have any questions on that? I'm going to fire up Canvas for Web3 and you're just going to submit your URLs on Canvas. Is that okay?
Yep.
All right. So the upside to that is I'm just going to give you credit for the stuff that you've already done here on Canvas, on Notion. So please be patient with us as we try to figure out the best way to do all this. Like, we're not still sure. I still want to have as much synchronous activity as much as possible. And I think the CodePen's professor pen is a much better way of doing that for code. For the other classes, it's not as good. All right. Any comments? Put it into the chat if you have a question. We good? All right. Throw up your thumbs and claps. Let me know that you're okay with this.
Where are they?
And under reactions. All right, let's get into this. Go to Web3. Not everybody is okay with this, but we're gonna have to live with it if you're not. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and make a link to the professor pen here. I'll put it on the card. It's also on the course website, either way. Okay, once you're into the chat room, go ahead and say hi. All right, so far it's just me and Stephanie. Get logged into CodePen. As always, make sure that you're logged into things that you need, things that we need. We all coming in? All right, so our first course here on Codecademy here is building an interactive website. So I initially planned to have you do the introduction to JavaScript, but Web 2 is already doing that. And if you do need a refresher, you have two options. You can go through Learn JavaScript Online and go through 1 through 19 all again, or you can quickly just go through this. I don't think you all have the 30 hours to complete this whole section here. Good? Or this isn't 30, right? It's pretty long, and it's a lot of stuff that we already know. But if for some reason you wanted to get a refresher on objects, I'd recommend going through this stuff. Okay, and you can just kind of cherry pick which ones are which concept that you need a refresher on. Okay. All right, we good there? But the course that you actually have to do is much shorter, way shorter. Okay, and that's building interactive websites. Now, unknown to me, because we weren't planning on using Codecademy, this actually hits on a lot of stuff that we're already going to do, especially templating with handlebars. Okay. And so what we're going to do today is, we don't have quite the time to use handlebars today, but I just wanted to get this idea of templating down. So on your resume, one of your bullet points that you can write there is that you can template. You can template with any language. And there are lots and lots of templating languages. And what I want us to be able to do is be familiar with the concepts around templating. Okay? Like, how do we not repeat stuff? I keep saying, like, why do you have to open up portfolio.html to add items to your portfolio, right? At some point you say, like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, I should be able to just focus on adding stuff to my portfolio. All right, so all I did was, right, I said, we need to make a bunch of pens to highlight the key points in this, okay? So then that's how lecture is gonna be, right? Law lecture is, what are the big things that we need to know? What do I need to add to these tutorials, right? So let's get started on that. The first one here is this. All right, let's go ahead and get a refresher on query selector. All right, so we're all in the professor pen. Yay. I only see 4 of us. Where is everybody? Say hi, let me know, please. Oh, this is 24. All right, you're all in professor pen. So we have an unordered list here, right? It's list item 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we want to make sure that we can select our unordered list item. And we're just going to copy and paste the easy stuff. Now, the reason I selected the parent, the UL, I made that teal, and then the LI is not teal, orchid, right? Is for no reason other than to show you the parent-child relationship, right? UL, like as we all know, is the parent, is the child of all this. All right, now that we have that, go ahead and open this thing up in debug mode and fire up your console. We can get started on this. Okay. Again, in your console, you can make your text bigger or smaller. All right, so first off, we want to be able to have JavaScript pick out the DOM nodes, right? We're just getting our refresher on our query selectors. So we're going to console.log on this. We're going to console.log, and we're going to simply log out the document. And that's one way to do a check. So we can come in here and refresh this. Save. That's done. That's that tab as I talk to myself. Console.log. For some reason, it's exceedingly slow today. Every internet. Are you getting your console? Do you see my console? I'm gonna unmute you all so I can. There's only 10 of us. We can talk to each other. Is this working on your end?
Are you typing in the master pen? It doesn't show me any JS.
Do you see what I see? Do you see me typing?
No.
In the professor pen? Anybody else have Ben's issue? Or not seeing me type? Sorry, Ben, it's not your issue. Can or cannot?
I can.
I am able to see you.
I can see it.
Yeah, I can too.
All right, Ben, try to refresh it or reopen it again. I'm gonna do it this way. Where is my console? Code pen? Now I'm mad. It's gonna make for a glorious screencast recording. Okay, it shows up there. Oh, I was messing around. I unchecked logs. See that? How I uncheck logs there? So you can filter out errors and warnings, and we just want logs. Okay. All right, there we go. That was embarrassing, and that was recorded for perpetuity. All right. The capital D document is our entire document. Okay. Basically, it's the entire window. Inside of there is everything we need to know about this. So another way to do this is if you're inside of the console, right now that we're in Web3, we can get to some of the fancy tips and tricks. Just go ahead and type document and then hit return. Watch what happens. You don't have the console.log, you get the exact same result. Look at the exact same result by just typing in document. So again, we want to be able to use our dev tools and see inside of the website. Good, and here's all the stuff that was related to the page. All right, so there's that. Okay. So now how do we get something? Well, if we do this the long way, so now we're going to go document.querySelector. Okay. And as soon as we start typing, so let's go ahead and do that. Document.querySelector. And that's an action. All right, so what are we looking for in this? Well, what I want to address right now is what is the difference between UL, okay, LI, right, and document query selector all, right? We're just getting a refresher of our query selectors from our homework, yay. Okay. All right, so now what we want to be able to do is actually see all that stuff. Did I type it wrong? Query selector, probably. One lowercase. UL, LI, and all web 1 lectures can be fun today. All right, you're good there? Let's clear that out. Let's take a look at our console. I didn't console.log anything out. So we need to be able to see these three things. So what do we need to do? Assign them to let const or var. Judging by the reaction of Megan and Ben, because there's only two faces I can see right now. Right. This isn't going too well. All right, so let's go ahead and assign this thing to the parent. Okay, this is the parent item, and this is the let. This is going to be our single list item, and we assign what's on the left to what's on the right, and this is going to be all list items, and this is just whatever we want to name this stuff. Okay, and then we can come into our console and console.log out all these different things. And what we want to see right now is just get a refresher on what each of these things are. Okay, so this is tedious, right? What I'm trying to show you right now. Okay, so first we did this thing the long way, and then we say there's got to be a better way to do this. It's Web3. There always is. Okay, good. So we're gonna hit save on that. And you can see all the individual list items. So query selector all gives me all the list items, right? And it makes it up, it puts it into an array list. Good. Okay, so that's list item 1. So we take a look at the UL. This is all the stuff inside of the UL, right? There's the first list item. And then if we take a look at this one here, okay, the individual list item, it should say what? All right, yell it out. I'm going to look at the content. Okay, is it going to say item 1, item 2, or item 3? I just grabbed 1. I just said, just give me one LI. Which one do you think is going to get first? The 1, 2, or 3?
1.
Right. All right. Good. Okay. And first child element, right? And there it is, item 1. That's the value of that node. Okay. All right, what am I doing right now that is boring everybody? Just making sure that we can do all this, right? Just week 1 refresher. All right, good. So the other way to do this is we can comment all that out. And once we have all these variables already made, right? Let's get into the fancy tips and tricks. Ready? Boom. Slow clap. Right? You don't have to console log out everything anymore, right? Like, there's good. The reason we didn't do this in Web 2 is like, I need you to know what was actually happening. Like, yes, you're going to console all this stuff out, right? But it's tedious to type, okay? And there are other console.log tips and tricks that we'll talk about. So now I can just come in here and go, give me the list item, and watch as I type. Ready, everybody? L-I, right? Notice how the browser is picking up on that, and it's auto-completing for me. This is a massive, massive time saver. Why am I spending 10 minutes on this? Because I want you to use it. I value your time. Please use this thing. Good? All right, so now that we can pick stuff, let's go ahead now and begin to see the next part. So on the Codecademy, right? So be able to grab stuff out of the DOM. That's all we did, right? I said you can read through, you can watch their 20 minutes, right? It was 20 minutes long. I had to watch it on double speed, and that was still too slow for me. So I recorded it, and then I watched it on 2.5 speed. It was just too slow, right? But if you need a 20-minute refresher on that, go ahead and take a look at this, right? So we've covered that part. Any questions on picking stuff out of the DOM? All right, so now we're gonna get our refresher on interacting with the DOM elements. Okay, this is basically at the core of what JavaScript can do, right? How do we pick something and change it? All right, go ahead and fork this pen if you need it. Otherwise, am I okay to clear it? Good. All right. Family. Yeah.
When did we add the class to Codecademy? I don't know if I missed that. I never did that.
We haven't started it yet. I'm talking about it today.
Oh, okay. I thought you said we had already done stuff.
We talked about Codecademy as one of your references, right?
Yeah.
So from the course website, it's right. This is all the stuff, right?
Yeah.
Is this plan A or plan B over here?
Plan A.
Plan B.
Right. This is plan B, right?
Okay.
All I'm doing is returning all these tutorials as a reference. Okay, but if for some reason I can't conduct a lecture, this is going to be what's highlighted there is your new instructor. Good. If I can't make it to class, I'm like, this week, do this. This week, do this. Okay. All right. I'm not going to talk about it, right? It's like Voldemort, right? Eat the it who shall not be named. All right. So now let's get into selecting stuff out of the DOM. Okay. All right. Go ahead and we're going to do a simple toggle. All right. We want to remember this from Web 2. Okay. All right. There's our HTML. Yay. Okay. Click on that button. It's going to do stuff. Okay. And our do stuff is this class, right? And it's going to add the class that's going to toggle. Okay. Good. Okay. So all we're trying to do now is, hey, JavaScript, see what I'm doing manually here? Pick this class, okay, and do this to it. And then if I click the button, okay, what do I want JavaScript to do? Remove that class of do this. Okay. Again, this is going to get really hard if we can't do this manually. Be able to do this manually. Be able to manually add a portfolio item to your portfolio. And then go, all right, I'm a human being. There's got to be can't the machines do this? Right? I'm working with a client right now. They're producing a yearbook, okay? And there's 30-something people in this yearbook, right? And they're trying to design one page at a time. I said, we can automate this yearbook process to where we're going to grab all the data, right, and put it into these templates. Right? Slow clap. Like, wait, we can do that? Yes. Why not? Why are we? Right. Hi, Mariah. Okay. All right. Good. All right. So now that we got that, let's have JavaScript actually make this thing happen. All right. Are you following along now with me? All right. So first off, we need some variables, right, to set this thing. Okay. So these are going to be our variables. First, we need a trigger, okay, and then we need a target, right? So in this case, what's our trigger? What are we acting on, right? What is going to make this event happen? What event is it listening for?
Click or on click?
On click on what element?
Uh,
I am computer. I am going to add and
button.
remove class on
Button.
what element?
Button.
Don't you miss that? All right. So equal sign assignment on button. All right. So first let's go, and then we can go ahead and select the button, right? And I'm not going to belabor this point. We know, just like we just did, the query selector on button. All right. And then the JavaScript goes, all right. So then you want me to, what element do you want me to act on? Oh my God, this is going to be recorded for posterity forever. Oh, robot voice.
The
What
class
element?
of do this.
So I'm adding and removing a class that do this to what element? Close.
The paragraph.
It's a paragraph.
There we go, right? So boom, that's it. Right, that's what we're acting on, okay? So now that we have that understanding, we can begin to manipulate this thing. All right, somewhere I have an error in there. Oh, there's my syntax error. Okay, again, it's not equal, it's assignment. Okay, Web 2 right now is still confused, like what, wait, equal isn't equal, it's assignment
Yeah.
for JavaScript, right? But that's it, that should be confusing, right? Because we're changing our understanding of something, and that's just fine. Okay, so now we're gonna do something on click. All right, so then we can call this, and then so what element are we actually acting on in this case? What
Target.
element?
Right? Or no?
Yeah, what is our target? What are we clicking on? Button, right? We're on the button.
Yeah.
So are we gonna put the event listener on the paragraph, on the target, or on the trigger? We're gonna put it on the trigger. Okay. All right. Good there. All right. An add event listener is an action, right? It's a method. It needs to actually do something. Okay. And it takes 2 parameters. Okay. Why this is really useful, because we're going to use this a whole lot. Okay. All right. We have, it has 2 parameters. And the first one is what type of event. What type of event are we doing with the button? Double click, single click, slide, tap, hey Siri it, right? Those are all types of events. Okay. And I need us to understand that, right? Eventually you're going to be able to make your own events. Okay. But right now we're just using a click event. On page refresh is an event, right? Pull down to refresh is an event. Like there should be something like pull down to refresh. All right, yell out another event that you do that is uncommon other than clicking.
Hover, maybe? On hover?
Yeah, on hover, but very, very common. What other events other than, forget screens for a second. I really want us to understand these concepts of event.
On startup, maybe?
What was the other one? On startup? Someone else said something else. What other events? Oh, you can't see. Oh, you can't see me right now. What do you do with your phones? Tap, swipe, pinch, zoom, right?
Yeah.
If you have an iPad, you're now using 5 fingers to do stuff. And if 4 fingers does something else, 3 fingers does something else, right? We're getting into all these weird multi-touch gestures. So, right? See how UX3 and Web3, the same freaking class? Same class. All right. And then inside of that, we're going to have our function, right? It's not an event. Good. All right. So now we're just going to replace all this. So our event in this case is a click. And we're going to have our function, but we're going to be cool kids. We're not going to use the old function syntax that looks like that. We're going to use the new function syntax. Right. Good. To do all that stuff inside of here. Okay. Check, check. And this is the stuff to do. Okay. That's the stuff to do. Oops, I forgot our arguments. No one corrected me on my messed up syntax. Okay. These are called arrow functions. Remember arrow functions, right? I can see some of you nod your heads. Yes, arrow functions from Learn JavaScript Online, which you all just got rid of. All right, so the arrow function, this is our stuff to do when, right? Stuff to do on click. All right, and this is easily enough done. All right, so now what are we acting on? Our target, okay? Dang it, text content. And that's it. We just leave it right there. But what do we want to do to our target?
Add class.
Yeah, we
Right.
want to add a class. Right. And to do that, you're going to have to use this property called classless. Okay, if you kind of remember this. And what do we want to do with classless is toggle. And what class are we toggling that we just that we did manually? Do this as a string or a variable.
It's a string, right? Isn't it?
Yep. Good. And then if we wanted to animate it, right, we're gonna. This is when that's when we would do it on the CSS. Transition. What are we transitioning? The background. 0.5 seconds. Okay. All right. Again, I'm just trying to show us all the layers. Good. And if we wanted to animate both directions, we would put it on the paragraph itself, right? Now we're getting into Web 1 stuff. Okay. What am I trying to do right now? Make sure that we get our refresher on how all 3 layers work together, right? What to type, even I had to look up. What am I looking up? Stuff that we wrote last quarter. Okay. I don't expect you to understand, to know all this by heart. I do expect you to be able to figure out what do I need to make this stuff happen. Okay. Good. I'm going to click on this. Now it's going to transition both ways. All right. Now I want to get into templating, right? And let's see if we can't do this in the next 10 minutes because it's been really hard to get us out of here on time. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit save on this. So the first way I'd like to introduce templating isn't the way that they do it on Codecademy. So Codecademy introduces you to this alternate language called Handlebars, and Handlebars is great. Handlebars is one of the many templating languages, so Handlebars.js, and I'll show you what is Handlebars.js. If you take my beloved curly braces and you turn them sideways, right, they look like 2 handlebars.
Yeah.
Where's the Handlebars website? Were they bought out? Not bought out, but the website is gone. It's a really nice website too. I'll be. Okay. Anyway, if you go into CodePen, okay, and we go here in the JS, we can actually even search for handlebars.js. It's still there, right? So handlebars.js. So before we get into the nasty syntax of handlebars, the syntax is kind of nasty, but the ideas is what I'm trying to get across. So CodePen actually gives us a way to do this kind of embedding already. So, but before we get into that, let's go ahead and make sure that we understand this. And the best way to do this is, so inside the Master Professor pen, I want you to go ahead and what I want you to do right now is make a brand new pen, right? Not outside of what you're working with. So go ahead and make a brand new pen here. Right. And all I want you to do here is call this pen, right, content. This is your content CodePen. Yep. Go ahead and put your name and then just hit lorem on this thing. So we get your name and a paragraph on here. Good. So this is your content. This is your database, right? This is your API, right? This is everything that you're pulling into your website. Okay. So we have this external pen right here, and I'm going to go ahead and add it into the comments here so you can see where it's coming from. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and make a simple div right here. And I'm going to style that div so we can see this thing. W. Does a color start with W? Wheat. Oh, that error is back. That terrible highlighting. All right. So of course it's there, our div is there, but there's no content inside of it. Okay. So this right here is our template. This little div right here is the template. Correct? And then all of the stuff inside of here is the actual content. And this right here, this little idea, right, is how many times should you make your footer? How many times should your footer exist across an entire site with like an unlimited number of pages? How many footers should exist?
I mean, one, if you can
One,
link
right?
them.
And what about the navigation? Main navigation. How many instances of there be?
One.
One, right? Portfolio items. How many instances of there should there be?
As many as you need.
All right. Okay. Is everybody? I know Ben understands this. Does everybody else understand this idea? Okay. And so what we're trying to do here is take our template and break it up, right, into these individual sections that we can reuse in other places. That's a template. This is a huge component of what we're going to be getting into if working with our CMS. When we work with our CMS, we're going to create one template, and that template is going to take all of our content and dynamically insert it into our page. Okay. And so CodePen makes this relatively easy with an unknown thing that I feel like sometimes I'm the only one in the world that uses it. All right, ready for this CodePen syntax? This is CodePen syntax. Triple square brackets. Okay, so take your triple square brackets and then put in the URL to this other pen, right? So the pen that I provided it there, this one here. If we grab that URL, watch this magic. Oh, square brackets. Oh, CodePen. Did you break on me already? This works, by the way. Let's see here. Maybe I can't have spaces in there. Syntax, come on. There it goes. Don't put the spaces in there. Let this idea sink in for a second. What we're looking right now is the template. What we're looking at right now is the content. So if your users come in here, right, and go, well, I actually want real content now, right? Okay. See here, I'm a professional student borer. How do you spell it? Someone? What is someone who's boring? Is there professionally trained to confuse students? There you go. Right now, if I save this, when I go back to my template, what should I see?
It should change.
The new
or
content.
no, your template shouldn't change, right?
The template shouldn't change.
Yeah.
Okay. This large concept of the separation of concerns is a major component of Web3, and I can't make it any more simplified than this. Okay. I need you to get past the triple brackets. I need you to get past all the weirdness. Just understand this concept of what we're trying to do. So this could be our body template, and then we're going to have another one up here for maybe this is going to be our header template. Okay. Good. And this is going to be our footer template. Check on that.
And then what would be the most, I guess, outside of CodePen, how are you using this?
So I'm going to answer your question, right? What you're putting on your resume, right? Outside, what I'm using outside of CodePen, Ben, is whatever, right? So whatever CMS you use is going to have a different templating language.
Okay.
Right. And part of the reason we're using 11T is guess how many I spelled 11T wrong. 11T. Part of the reason why 11T, they need a better name. I forgot why it's called 11T. Guess why 11T has taken off in terms of popularity? It's related to templates. Guess which templating language 11T wants you to use? As soon as I find the documentation here. Guess which one? All of them. 11T says, bring your own templating language. We don't care, right? You can even extend it to your independent templating language or some of the common ones. And that's where we're going to stop today. That's the big picture stuff. All right. Any questions on this part? Okay. Good. All right. So just so you know, WordPress templates. This is going to be, what I'm Googling for is WordPress templates jobs, and you're going to be overloaded. There's lots and lots of work here, right? And the WordPress templates use PHP, right? And they have their own templating language, but whatever system you use, you're like, well, conceptually, they all work the same, but what you type is much, much different. Conceptually, they all have very, very similar features. Okay. And I believe you can learn one templating language, you can learn them all. And where am I going to end with this? You know Haml, Markdown, Slim, and Pug. They're all right there. Okay. But this is the easiest way I could get this point across. All right, stopping the recording.